This video is about OET writing subtest, and we are going to treat the writing task like a clinical decision making process because that's what it is really. Just like you diagnose the patient, you need to diagnose the task, decide what matters, and deliver a clean, purposeful letter. So let's go. Now, I'm going to tell you a new formula. Remember this. DDD. It's a triple D formula. Diagnose, decide, and deliver. Think of your letter like a clinical handover. Just like in hospital rounds, you're transferring responsibility to another healthcare professional. So, this formula helps you apply clinical reasoning to writing. The first D is diagnosing the task. This is your patient handover moment. Before you even read the case notes fully, pause and ask, who am I writing to? Because that will tell you what kind of information is important and what is their role or specialty. A GP, a specialist, a community nurse, or a social worker. Each one needs different things to continue the care, right? And the second one is, why am I writing this letter? Is this a referral letter or a discharge or a transfer, update or request? Okay, imagine this like a mental diagnosis. You're diagnosing the communication need of the letter just like you diagnose symptoms. And the next one is decide what's relevant. This is your clinical judgment step. You now look at the case notes like a medical chart, but not every line needs to be copied into your letter. Apply these three filters to every detail. The first one is relevance filter. Is this medically current or impactful? Example, a fall last week. Yes. A childhood measles episode. Probably not, right? So you should try to identify whether it is medically existing in the current situation or whether it's an impactful action. Okay? And the second filter is, will this influence what the reader needs to do next? If the information helps the recipient to decide on medication, follow up, or intervention, then it's in. And the third one is the filter number three. Is it within the reader's professional scope? So that means whether it is within the reader's roles or responsibility. You cannot tell a dietitian about ECG changes unless it is relevant. And don't tell a physiotherapist about lab values which they don't use. Got it? So use highlighters or color codes when practicing. Highlight, must include, maybe, and exclude. Train your eye like a clinician prioritizing notes during their rounds. And the third one is deliver the letter. Now that you have identified who you are writing to and what matters, you deliver the message cleanly, professionally, and clearly, right? So think of this as your SBAR communication. Remember, it should be structured, brief, accurate, and relevant. So your letter should follow this logic. Opening line, diagnosis plus action. Example, you can state like, I'm referring or discharging or transferring. You can give the patient name, age, year, old, due to the issue and the background information, the key details only. What happened, when it happened, why it's important. Try to include only information that supports the reason for writing. And then the current status, such as symptoms, function, medications, any progress, or any limitations. You have to mention everything about the current status. And recommendation or request. So, what do you need the recipient to do? This is where purpose becomes action. And you can use transition words to sound clinical and cohesive. Words like off note, given the above, in light of, consequently, therefore I request. So you can use these type of transitional words. Now I'll tell you why this triple D formula works. Because it makes the real world equal in connection. Okay? And now let's jump into realistic case notes. Here is the setting. You're an occupational therapist in a rehabilitation hospital, And your task is to write a discharge letter to a general practitioner regarding a 39-year-old woman, Miss Tanya Blake, who was admitted after a traumatic brain injury sustained in a cycling accident. And here are the sample case notes. Patient Miss Tanya Blake, 39, freelance graphic designer. Admission date 16 July 2025. Discharge date is 6th August 2025. And the reason for admission is moderate TBI after road accident. Admitted to neuro rehabilitation unit after ICU. Hospital course initially had memory lapses, attention deficits, emotional ability, received daily cognitive rehabilitation, weekly psychologist sessions for adjustment issues, now oriented functional slight short term memory delays, difficulty with multitasking, fatigue with prolonged screen use, independent in ADS. Also, follow-up needs or GP to monitor mood and cognitive fatigue. Refer to neuropsychologist if emotional ability worsens. Recommend gradual return to freelance work over 6 weeks. Avoid high stimulation environments. Currently on no medication. Okay, now let's see the response. Sample OET letter response. So 6th August, you can write the date, doctor name, address regarding Miss Tanya Blake, 39 years old. I'm writing to discharge Miss Tanya Blake, a 39-year-old freelance graphic designer who has recently completed a 3-week rehabilitation program following a moderate traumatic brain injury sustained in a cycling accident on 16th July 2025. Upon admission to our neuro rehabilitation unit, Miss Blake exhibited memory lapses, poor attention span, and episodes of emotional lability. She received daily cognitive rehabilitation therapy alongside weekly psychological counseling. Over the course of her stay, her orientation and cognitive function improved significantly. She is now independent in all activities of daily living and is able to manage routine tasks with minimal supervision. So, this is the high scoring response. I'll tell you why it will score high band for you. First, it has a clear purpose, right? We have clearly mentioned the reason for writing. So, discharge after neurorehabilitation. This has been stated upfront in the letter, and the purpose is immediately obvious. The second one is content, which is very appropriate and it has been selected well. There are no irrelevant information, no crash scene details or helmet commentary, right? Only what's relevant for the GP's ongoing care is included. And the third one is conciseness and clarity, which is very strong. The usage of precise language such as orientation, emotional ability, multitasking, right? And there are no repetition or vague phrasing. If you see the genre and style, that is also consistent. We have maintained a professional tone throughout this passage and no casual phrases or medical jargon. The reader focused. So this letter is reader focused. If you see the organization and layout also from admission, then treatment, current condition, and the recommendations, it has come in the natural flow. Smooth transitions. We have used phrases such as at present, additionally, should, occur, all these transitional words. And if you see the language, we have used complex sentence structures, right? Also, there are good range of vocabulary and no grammatical errors. Got it? So remember, you don't need to write a novel. You don't need any fancy words. You just need to diagnose the situation, decide what matters, deliver a letter that continues care smoothly. So remember the triple D. And that's all for today's video. Kindly like, share, and subscribe for more OET tips. See you in the next video. Bye bye.